And it's Dan and James talking about the Villa games. Hi there, everybody, and welcome to the AVFC Faithful podcast, Rewards Night. There's no bottles of wine being dished out, no shirt and tie. I voted against it because it would be unfair on our co-host James. But welcome. Stay seated, please. A round of applause can go at the end. But you are formally invited and welcomed to the AVFC Faithful Awards show. Basically, knockoff version of the Villa Awards for the season, but we've done our categories, James. Some of us left them till the last minute. I'm not going to name any names, but we've got them all going. How did you find making them?
Mostly easy, and then some that I didn't want to just say the obvious ones that come to mind, but yeah.
But we will have our separate awards. I thought that'd be easiest. Otherwise, this will be about a 40-minute video of me and James debating because we will this. There's no way we've got all of them the same, right? We did this Keep Loan Sell, and somehow we did it all the same, pretty much. We haven't spoke about this. We were speaking just before now, and we didn't even let out what we'd done. So, look, we got the categories coming up. Stay tuned because they get good. You've got Player of the Season, Goal of the Season, Match of the Season, Moment of the Season, which is a bit more niche, Tackle of the Season, which we went for, which I can't wait for, Most Improved Player, Disappointment of the Season. I'm going to throw a really difficult one in for you to have to think of on the spot, James, and it's Manager of the Season. So we're going to go for that now, and we'll start off with the most coveted award. I think we'll just work in chronological from that, and I want to go for your Player of the Season. So, round of applause, please, for James.
Thank you. I think that we're going to have the same here, personally, but I went with Mings. I don't know, because there's a few shouts that you could give it to, and I wouldn't say that it was undeserved. For me, he's just been a rock. He's been there defensively, playing it out through the back, and just he's been a real leader without the armband. And I think he's been a constant at the club for how long now, and I just think I like that. So I'd like to give him the recognition that he deserves, and especially considering the start to the season he had, being stripped of the captaincy and then dropped on the first game, and I think since Emery's come in, he's gone from strength to strength in a new way of playing for him.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great one. He's not here to claim the award for me personally. Believe it or not, we didn't manage to get any of the players here. We respectfully told them they weren't welcome in our homes at this time in the evening. But we'll get the award sent out to him. It'll probably be a poster. Because he is my Player of the Season. We have managed to go for the same one here. Like you said, an absolute wall at the back to come back from where he was at the start of the season, in the eyes of the manager at the time. And sort of a lot of the fans as well, if we're honest about it. I think at times I even doubted him last year. So the way he's come back into this team, and how long has it been now? What? I don't even want to count the years really, because it makes me emotional, but he's been just around for long enough that he is basically part of the furniture, it feels.
4.5 years now.
Well, right? Promotion season, wasn't it? So yeah,
the January 2019.
And although he's not our captain now, he's definitely still basically our I call him basically our ghost captain, because he's there making the calls at the same time as McGinn is, and having the chats with the players he needs to. Absolutely brilliant. And it's just high time he gets the recognition and the praise he deserves. And I think he deserves to be in that England team. I think he deserves to start for England now at this stage. And I think I don't think he will because of the way that England's set up. But I love the bloke. Great man, great talent. We're so lucky to have him.
Yeah.
Goal of the Season. Now I'm just going to go first because I can. And I've gone for one that Villa did not award this to. And this one's because I think it's a bit more of my personal favourite way of scoring goals. And it is Douglas Luiz against Spurs away.
Yeah, it was a very nice goal.
It's the McGinn ball in and the dink. It's just, that is exactly how I want to see a football goal scored, especially away. And I think it also helped as well that goal sort of signified to me where we had become as a team. I mean, we went and just beat Spurs off the park at their own ground, and it sort of cemented where we were. And it was the proper, just a style of football, which we just didn't see under our previous tenure under he who shall not be named. So yeah, that's my goal of the season personally. So Doug Luiz, there you go for one of your many goals against Spurs.
Yeah, it was a great goal, winning the ball back high up as well, and then quick interchanges, ghosting a midfielder ghosting into the box and finishing like that is really nice. And the knee slide, I love a Dougie knee slide. It's amazing. For mine, probably Jacob Ramsey against Newcastle because we played it through the lines. There wasn't that much pressure on us at the time. I think that we'd scared Newcastle by that point already. But when the ball goes out wide and that lovely deep cross, and I think it's the header from Watkins that makes it for me because it's such a difficult skill to pull off. And then the finish from Ramsey on his weak foot. Well, you say weak foot, but he's pretty two-footed. So
does he have one?
And then it was just, I think in the context of how big that game was, I think that's why it stands out to me. And the limbs from the whole end behind the goal, the celebration from Ramsey, just I love watching that goal back.
Yeah, and it signified a lot, didn't it, as well? Like Jacob Ramsey just dominated that game, and it was it's that header back from Watkins that you've mentioned. It was sort of what people said that we didn't see from him in his game, and it was that affirmation of what he can do. No, I agree. It was on my list, believe it or not. It was in my top 3. So obviously honorable mentions. Traore won the main award, so we don't need to give it to him. You've got the real thing. And there were shouts for like Luiz against Spurs at home because apparently he likes scoring against Spurs. There just a lot of great goals, which was nice to see. And the Liverpool goal stood out to me as well. That was Jacob Ramsey. I was just again Ramsey ghosting into the back post and slotting it home. It's just maybe Jacob Ramsey's just insanely good. Maybe he should have gone for England as well, but that's a separate video for a separate time. We're gonna go into the deep end. All right, I hope everyone's ready. Put your hats on, put your boots on. We're at match of the season now, or game of the season. I went for match. I feel like match sounds better. I don't know why. Game of the season sounds a bit strange.
I'd say match.
Right, good. I'm glad. Nobody else can disagree now because James didn't. So, match of the season, James. What have you gone for?
Originally, I was thinking Chelsea because of how I thought that was the time that we were going to do it, but I've changed my mind. Spurs at home. Ooh. Because after the poor run, obviously against Wolves and United, and then we come back and we dominate. Let's face it, not a great Spurs side, but it was still a challenge because they were still fighting just like us, and we took the game to them and we controlled it. And barring a dive, we would have won that game 2-0. And it was just a really positive performance. Everything that I wanted, that I've been wanting to see from Villa, like playing easily through from out the back and then attacking well, recycling the ball, energy. It was just amazing. And I think that set up for the final 2 in Liverpool and Brighton. So that's my match of the season.
Yeah, I mean, sifting through this, it was amazing seeing how many of my choices were home games. And, there was a time where I know we went on that massive run where we just couldn't win away. But it always felt like home just wasn't strong. It wasn't. It just wasn't. It didn't feel like home. It kind of felt like not away, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So I've also gone for a home game, but I have gone for probably most people's, and it was Newcastle at home. Just for the fact that I was so nervous. I think I was just only a little bit more nervous for Brighton at home than I was for Newcastle because they were obviously the team to play against at the time. And my word, did we just run them off the park? They had, from what I can remember now, they had 2 chances, actual chances. And we just, I think you ask anyone to watch the game, it probably could have and should have been 5 at least. The chances we missed, it was just the perfect blend of style and just the crowd were up for it. It was a nice day. It was early kickoff, wasn't it, as well on a Saturday, which I think I said before, I did not enjoy watching us on. Just set out the weekend. It's such a good little memory in. And, it's a great game when I can remember going into work the next day and gloating about it. Well, next day on the Monday and gloating about it.
Yeah.
It's always going to stick in my head. So yeah, obviously seeing Jacob Ramsey, Ollie Watkins just absolutely ball out, and that memory of Gareth Southgate looking utterly annoyed at seeing Ollie Watkins play so well, while Callum Wilson did not. So yeah, that's my match of the season for sure. Well, this was strange actually because we went for moment of the season, and it felt like you could sort of say a moment was within, it sort of involves having a match really, but I went quite I'd be honest, I did this literally 30 seconds before we started recording, because I forgot, so I'll let you go first for this one because I'm interested,
I
because you smiled when I said about it at the start, and I want to know.
Mine is a little bit more niche, and it was nothing to do with the actual football on the pitch. Um, it was watching Unai, Wes, and Nassif go around the pitch after the Brighton game with the atmosphere and just seeing those three that looked like they meant business and that was probably already planning. I don't know. Just at that point, I was looking back over the past few years about what we've been through, and I know other clubs have had it way worse than us, but we've been on a ride, and I thought it now feels like we're steady and we're going up, and yeah, that'll stand out to me for a long time.
Yeah, it's. I saw a picture again today about it. The fact it's still going around now, nearly 2 weeks on, it is just beautiful, in it. And like you said, it felt like it feels like they fit, don't it?
Yeah,
The trio together in front of the whole. It's such a nice picture. I agree with you. It wasn't my moment of the season, unfortunately. But mine's because I'm just such a little rat when it comes to football. Like I like the dirty tactics on my side, and it was when Tyrone Mings just absolutely pocketed Ronaldo at home. I saw people were saying what was their favorite member from the Premier League season on Twitter, and it was when Tyrone Mings had a picture of his dog, and the dog's face was changed to Ronaldo's face. And that's just my clear memory of that game. I know we beat him, and that was great and all whatever, but I mean, just that's his last memorable game in the Premier League. Was
that was
being
his last game.
It was his last game. His last time I think he started,
Yeah,
um, and yeah, that was it was his last game. He was on the bench for the next two, and then did the interview and left, I believe.
oh yeah,
Um,
because it was literally the World Cup, the
yeah.
game after the next one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes
So,
sense.
oh mate, when they had their little tussle on the ground and Ronaldo didn't even look strong coming off of it. I mean, that's when you knew. Bear in mind, Mings had already come off that season as well. This season as well, performing really well against Haaland as well. Despite the fact Haaland scored, it seems like Mings had a really good read on just the big boys up top.
Yeah,
Not saying he was perfect, but it just felt good knowing that in that area you just had someone that wasn't worried to go up against it. I know we
yeah,
worry because Mings does love to have a bit of a go with it, and it doesn't back away from it, but it's just perfect. I watch it back now, just their little scuffle, and I
yeah.
just know that Tyrone's smirk while he has the gum in his mouth and the wink. I just picture it in my head. I know what he was saying. You could feel it. Just yeah, that was definitely my moment. It was just pretty. Don't know. Just I do feel like a bit of a rat for saying that's my moment. People will have like, oh, when the final whistle went against Brighton and Emery's speech, proper heartfelt moments. And mine's no, just watching a 30-odd-year-old superstar get bullied by Tyrone Mings in our box.
It'll always be memed and gift, won't it?
Always, it seems like Mings is just destined for it as well.
Yeah.
He's just so handsome. This was your one actually, so I'm going to let you take the ride on this one, and it was tackle of the season. You went for the niche pick, so I'll let you take the ride on it because everyone's will have one because it's fresh in the mind, I think.
Ashley Young against Kevin De Bruyne at home when he
Wow.
chased him down from like the halfway line.
Yeah, no, I actually remember it. It's the
Yeah, it was good because De Bruyne. I just remember De Bruyne complaining to the ref standing there, and the next thing you know, Ashley Young's played the ball through the lines, and
yeah,
then Douglas Luiz sets Watkins through and nearly scored. Like, I mean, that performance in general from Young that game was immense. But
yeah.
yeah, he just chased back Kevin De Bruyne, who's about 30 years younger than Young, and he just shrugged him off and played on. It was one of those moments where you're like, oh, it gets you going. That does.
Yeah, I mean, it's a somber moment now, isn't it? You mentioned Young, like
Sorry.
he's not in contract anymore, and well, that hurts. That does, doesn't it? Wow. We haven't even had a chance to process that yet. Feels like I've been dumped. Yeah, that was a great tackle by Ashley.
Never
So
forgotten.
I might have broken the rules a bit. Mine's less of a tackle, more of a foul.
That
And
works.
it was Douglas Luiz's chest tackle against Fulham, against Mitrovic.
Oh yeah.
For that was the catalyst for Unai Emery. While I think Gerrard would have been sacked on the result anyway, I think the red card sealed it, considering the fact that Nassif stormed out of the building when that red card happened.
Yeah.
So that's it for me. I was watching a compilation on TikTok the other day of all the red cards in the Premier League,
I saw that. Yeah.
and that one came
That
back.
was a
First
joke
of
of
all,
a red card.
can't
Still,
fucking
though.
believe it got given. Oh my word! I've seen it back again. How can you watch that and go? It just screams to me that they didn't look at it, even though they
Yeah.
replayed
No
it. They
problem.
actually didn't look. It's so strange, and it wouldn't it be funny if they, they spoke about that on Sky Sports instead of the obvious offsides. But hey, who knows? But no, that was my tackle of the season. I guess there was a tackle before it that led to it. Sure, that
Can
one.
I add another category? I'm going to make you think on the spot, and it's also going to make you sad again.
Oh no!
Pass of the season.
Oh no! Yeah, no, we'll do that now because I'll do mine straight away, and it's Tyrone Mings against Fulham, where we
Which one
pass
was
it around
that?
the back and he outside from the whole end
Oh
out the
yeah,
left.
that's a
Boom.
cracking pass. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Oh, mine was between two. Mine was between Ings against Wolves when Bailey missed that chance at the end.
Yeah,
But what I'm going with is I'm going with another Ashley Young moment. The pass against Leeds to set the counter away. You know, where he disguised passed it into
yes,
Kamara.
yes,
That was just a class piece of play because anyone would have just sent that forward into the
yeah.
channel, and he picked Kamara out in space, and that set the whole tone.
Mm. No, yeah, no, well, no, I like that, but it's just so quite a technique on Mings for me.
I'd forgot about the Mings pass. To be fair, I remember the noise that came out of me when I watched that live.
I remember the noise that came out of me watching it about 10 times afterwards as well, because it wasn't going anywhere. And then you
Yeah,
retweeted it because someone finally posted about it, and it was just, oh, yeah. No, you did make me think on the spot. I'm glad I got that out quick because I don't think I'd have got the Ashley Young one. But that, no, as soon as you say, when someone says something and you get it, like, it's almost like Lego, it builds in your head and then it comes
yeah,
real like that. So,
yeah.
quite enjoyed that. That was,
Off the
now I'm
cuff.
sad again.
We will miss him, our Ash.
Yeah, it was strange, wasn't it? I don't want to get too into it because I
What is
think
it with Ashley's leaving this season? Bloody Young and Priest.
we haven't got any others, have we? God.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's going to be an investigatory time for me afterwards. I'll literally Google Aston Villa Ashley and see what happens.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll
something.
be a
It'll
different
be Young.
spelling. It will just be Young leaving. That's going to upset me now.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, we're down to the last few now. It's getting sad. It's been a bit of a night. We've had just so much drama go on. We're glad you all could make it again. We're so thankful. I raise a glass off screen, of course. I do not promote the drinking of alcohol on my podcast, but unless any alcohol-based beverages would like to sponsor the podcast, in which case, DM me. So next space is most improved player. I'm gonna think that we might have the same one here. So I'm
I'm
gonna go
going to think that we
first.
don't.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna agree with you that we don't then. So I'll go with mine first, and it is Mr. Meatball John McGinn.
Oh, so we do then.
Yeah. Well, I was sifting through it for ages. I mean, I don't think Mings has actually improved. I think he's just been given more confidence and more time on the ball. And I think again, Louise, it's a mixture of both improvement and being played in his proper position. But McGinn has been playing in his old position and his slightly new position on the right, and he has just looked equally better. And it just seems to me that he has basically moved on so well from the Gerrard tenure up through to what we have now under Unai. Just so impressed by his reading of the game so much better. The way he sort of attacks the ball and defends the ball as well, especially with or without the ass. The game that sticks out to me is Spurs at home.
Yeah.
I mean, he dominated Son and Kane. It was bullying at times.
Yeah.
I was worried. I thought we were going to see like a sort of a help post put out, sort of like these are the signs of abuse signal, because it was just tremendous. And it's been great because I think I have to say it, because I was one of his staunchest critics, and just he's come on leaps and bounds. And we've always said we want the Scotland McGinn, and it feels like we've got our own version of that now.
Yeah, the only thing that we're lacking is the sort of prolific edge to his game that he has for Scotland. But we get a different sort of McGinn from Scotland. He's performing the same sort of level, but he's doing things differently. And I think it's how he's played out wide. He's played as almost like a 10. He's played in the pivot. He's playing as a pressing forward at times. The thing for me is that he's been like a sponge to Unai's, lectures, you could say.
Yeah.
He's literally took everything on board, and you can see the amount of times he says, like, in Scotland, you get the ball and you're told to play forward as fast as you can. Whereas, obviously, Emery wants you to take care of the ball, to take a few touches and pick the right pass. And you can literally see that in his game. You can see him thinking at the same time as protecting the ball. And I think, for me, most improved, not just from last season, but from the start of the season. It literally, within 6 months, he's become a completely different player. And like we were both saying, how he needed to be dropped under Gerrard, and that still stands, because at the time he wasn't doing very well, but none of them were, and that wasn't all his fault. But yeah, considering the season, the start of the season that McGinn and Mings had, it's nice that they've hit such high levels and that they deserve the recognition for that.
Definitely. It is just, I mean, I'm not surprised we sort of had the similar ones there, because we are one of the same mind, really. I mean, no one comes to this podcast thinking of heated debates, really, are they? But trust me, the one day it does, it's getting on that YouTube title, with the red mist and whatever they put on. But yeah, it's just great to see that the players themselves are taking on board what's coming from the coaching team, I think, because it sort of hits a bit more different when you can sort of see it's like being involved in the meetings when you see it on the pitch. It's like you're more involved with the systems coming out, because you can see it rather than the magical moments we had before. We're not going to end on a sad note, because obviously we got manager of the season last, so we've got a disappointment of the season, unfortunately. I'm going to let you take the reins on this one. I think there's only like 2 or 3 options you can really go for, but I think most people is probably typing away at what they know theirs is.
For me, I really struggled with this one. I thought I was first going to say the Wolves game, because I feel like that was quite pivotal with where we finished. But it's Carlos getting injured, because I think that missing him for the whole season, I think he could have offered so much to the side. Not like he'd have made a massive difference to the Gerrard reign, but when Emery come in, I think if we'd have had him, he just would improve the first phase of build up a lot, and he's a great defender as well. I was just thinking, if we'd have had him, I think it could have made a huge difference.
It killed, didn't it? It really did hit. It was strange, because it didn't feel like it was going to be serious when it happened, and then it just went on a little bit too long. And then the more, like, every second went past, you went, he's just not moving how you want him to. And then as soon as you just thought, oh, like, it sort of signaled like the end of like a proper push. It felt like we sort of reverted back to square one again. We made this amazing signing, and it just sort of, it did feel like like the change of the guard had sort of gone backwards almost. Mine was, I nearly went for Leon Bailey, to be honest, but I think he showed a little bit more promise towards the end of the season in the last couple of games, and I think that, how long's he been here now? Just over a year. Am I right in saying
That
that?
was his second full season, but obviously the first one he was injured so much.
So right now, so my judgment really is that now is you're starting to see the player that they actually are. Because I think there is a settling in period, especially for players coming from abroad,
Yeah,
players that aren't. There's a difference from players who come from, like, say, a Sancho that went to Germany then came back, but a player that's moved in completely different cultures. I think there's a little bit of leeway you can sort of give them. So I didn't go with him. My disappointment has actually been in just the general running of the Premier League this year. Because I fell really out of love with football towards the World Cup, and I fell a little bit out of love with it just after the World Cup as well, because the officiating of the World Cup felt so much better, and what we had when we came back was just baffling. I mean, not just that, even the fixture running felt wrong. Like, the amount of time we had to wait for fixtures to be set up, and they just made weird decisions. Officiating was just out the window all year. I mean, I can count probably on my hand the amount of games we had where we had a decent running of the entire 90, and I could come away going, you know what, the ref's been fine, unnoticeable. It just happens too much for my liking, and it does ruin the flow of the game,
yeah,
and it takes away so much. Now, while that has been my disappointment of the season, it doesn't mean to say that they're the demons. It's not just the refs. I think the refs have struggled by bad laws as well. That's disappointed me a lot, is the way that I'm seeing the laws be sort of interpreted and put on towards the game. Just not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the handball rule, not a fan of the way offside's really done. It's just takes away from me. Like I said, it's not just even in the Premier League, it's not just for Villa, it's just all around. Football feels a little bit different to me now. And I think if we didn't have Emery, I don't think I'd have watched half of the end of the season. I was really falling out of love with the game. Trying not to just
yeah,
go. I'm really falling out of love with the game, to be honest with you. I'm sick. Like, um,
yeah.
so
It's
that was sort of my disappointment, but I guess more
been
Villa
normal.
based. For me, it was the Wolves game. It's just, it felt so much like that was the game I wasn't worried about. And a couple of people were still. They were like, "Is Wolves? Remember, it is a derby." And I didn't think it was going to go that way, and it
Yeah,
felt like it felt like the Stevenage game. That was also on there, the cut runs. It just, yeah, but I think overall football disappointment for me was the running of the Premier League this year. But yeah, I guess the Wolves game for more Villa based.
yeah.
But that does mean to say I don't ever condone whatever's happening to the officials currently right now. Is absolutely,
Ah, it's a
Jesus,
joke.
so horrendous. My word, like, I trust me, I've shouted some stuff at refs before, but to go as far, I wouldn't even say it to their face.
Yeah,
Bit
no.
of a coward. But do you know what I mean? Like, it sort of, it's not personal. I think you take the game away from it. Believe it or not, people like Anthony Taylor don't actually hate you. They don't
Yeah,
hate your team. It's just, it's their job. I've never ever thrown a chair at my postman because he dropped my parcel off at the wrong door. Believe it or not. So do you know what I mean? Like, people have bad games. I don't condone any sort of violence or I don't, just chillax. We can say, oh, David Coote had a shit game. That's it.
he
Not
did.
David Coote's had a shit game. All this horrendous stuff that people put on afterwards. It baffles me, and I, I know
Yeah.
it's gonna like me saying this, but it's a game. At the end of the
Mm.
day,
It's this what some people think they have the right to do is pretty ridiculous these days, and that doesn't even just apply to only football. So it's not really a surprise, with how things are. But yeah, let's get back on track with it's the last award, is it?
it is. It's the hardest one to give out as well. It is manager of the season. We have had officially three managers slash head coaches, so it's a three-horse race. Um, and I actually think it's close.
Aaron Danks.
I think it's close. Yeah, he's definitely second. Um, look, I actually sat there and I thought, what can I say that redeems Steven Gerrard? Uh, Aside from the Kamara signing, which I think he did probably have a bit of pull with. Uh, it was quite frankly the fact that he probably kept it nice and tidy when he left. And also that he doesn't talk about us in the public sphere, because any correlation with that man makes me violently ill.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I'd say that the thing that I'll give him his due. When things got tough, his hairline didn't get any worse. So
True. That forward-facing hairline he has, yeah.
yeah, exactly. The same hairline that he's had for about 3,000 years. At least that stuck around and didn't get worse like everything else.
He also stared out the fans quite well, remember, don't forget.
Yeah,
That aura he has.
the Goodison glare.
No, I think basically this is a little designated way so that we can just sort of gloat about Unai Emery for 5 minutes. Really, it's just basically an Unai loving. But everyone's glad they stuck around for this, because it's just your chance to just see how happy one Spanish man can make two, blokes from England. Just look how happy he makes us.
Yeah, he's amazing. It's just it's reminded me of why I enjoy football. Under Gerrard, I was constantly just sort of looking into the tactics of things and what players will make us better, and etc. etc. Whereas like Emery's just drilled into us, you have to believe, you have to be behind the team. We can't be anywhere without each other, and like it's just settled me back down of like, I've never been so trusting in a manager, and never been so happy with what I'm watching, and you can feel that around the club. I mean, that I will never forget that day against Brighton 2 weeks ago, because it was just amazing. That was a sign of a fan base that's trusting in what we're about to achieve. They were behind the players the whole time, and we were a big part in how that ended on that day, because we set the tone from the start. The atmosphere was amazing. I've never experienced anything like it around Villa Park, and that's majoritively down to one man coming in and understanding the culture and what fans want at the same time as doing what he needs to do. So it's just it just feels like we're never going to lose him. Honestly, it feels perfect, doesn't it, right now? And I'm really hopeful that we get some even more success under him and quite soon. It'd be nice as well.
Unai Emery was appointed on a weird day for me. It was actually the day before I got married. His appointment was announced, and it was the strangest feeling ever of going from shitting myself to pure elation back to shitting myself. And it didn't feel real. Like I was with obviously pretty much half of my groomsmen, and we were sat there and they went, "Do you believe you've actually just got Unai Emery?" And I was like, nope, hasn't happened. Don't believe it. Oh, I'm getting married tomorrow. Nope, not happening. None of this is happening. I'm in a dream state. And ever since then, it hasn't felt like real what's happened. Let's be very clear. Nothing would have happened without him. And the way the club looks now wouldn't be where it is without him. Right now, as of today, we haven't signed anyone yet. And technically, I guess, is it 2 or 3 people now we've been linked to that haven't come through yet?
Yeah.
If this was Villa last year, everyone would be freaking out. Villa aren't getting anything over the line. This is worrying. Where are we going? Right now, Yuri Tielemans is either set to sign or we've all been hoodwinked again. And I'm just going, don't really care. That's all right. That's fine. Because the stillness this man has installed in me is outrageous. We at one stage on Sunday, not last Sunday, Sunday before, obviously, we were nearly finishing 9th. I wasn't worried. Tottenham went up show it. Oh, well, worried. Why are you worried? Unai Emery's in charge. There's no way in this world we lose this game because it's him. It's just goes in his speech after the game. He starts mentioning getting back to work again. The
man is a workaholic.
It's ridiculous, and just having a manager that wants to continuously build something, and you can see he obsesses over it. It feels like he's not obviously. It's bluntly clear. He's obviously not a Villa fan. We've had that already, but he clearly basically becomes a club that he joins. And it does feel like he's one of us, because if any of us were in that job, a proper fit, all you do is obsess over it. You do nothing but try, and it is just outrageous to have a man that just brings so much. And I'll tell you what, one key thing I've mentioned at the start of the season when we got him, about a few games in, because we used to slag Gerrard off for it. I like the fact that he doesn't at the end of every game clap the fans, because he's never done it. He's never made an effort to finish the game and then go clap everyone. You know, Gerrard used to do it when we won, and when we lost, go down the tunnel. Emery straight away down the tunnel. So that's fine, because he's done his job. He's off to go work on the next one. Fine by me. He lets the players take the plaudits because he's adamant that the players do pretty much everything. He's such a humble bloke as well, which helps. It's just, I would love to share a glass of wine with the man over a nice dinner and just listen to him.
I'd love to hug
day
him.
long.
I'd love to give him a big hug and say thank you, Don Unai, for resurrecting this club.
He'd go, no, thank you. And that's what would be the problem.
Yeah, and I'd cry.
Backwards and forwards with him.
He's just a humble, genuinely nice man by the look of it. And, we can only go off what we see. We don't actually know these people, but you just know that he'd be a top guy.
Yeah. I mean, just watch it. The way he approaches the interview he did with Luis as well was he just shouting up the Villa at the end as well. Just, do you know what I mean? Clearly he's a bloke who's been paying attention. Not saying that he watches any other podcasts that sign out with Up the Villa or anything, but he obviously involved himself so much in the club. He knows exactly what to shout at the right time. And he doesn't just wait for moments of magic like other managers would. So it is like a state of euphoria, I think we're in now. And any Villa fan you speak to, everyone's like, don't get it, not sure what's going on, but it feels like it is never going to end.
It feels just like something. It feels like a fairy tale. So let's just see what other chapters are coming our way.
For 9 months we've been in dreamland.
I love that.
Well, that does conclude our awards ceremony. We'd also like to give out a big award to you all, because you've all been fantastic. No, it's been an amazing season, hasn't it? We've done a whole season of this, barring our little break for the World Cup and people being selfish and having babies.
Apologies.
Basically outrageous, really. But we've got a whole season in the bag of following the Villa through podcast format. Been great. Who'd have thought that we'd finish this? I just wish that one day I do get to go back in time and just give this video to me at the Fulham game after watching it and go, look what happens.
Yeah.
Watch me basically blow up in sort of what?
I'd like it after the Bournemouth first game of the season. After that, that'd be quite nice, because I'd be like, what the hell happens for 9 months?
I do actually remember that game going on while I was in Flight Club, throwing darts and drinking beer and going, oh, not another year of this. So walking out the bar and seeing me going, wait, stop, watch this. Yeah, no, that would be great. So it's been outrageous, and I'm just so grateful to have been able to do this for it, because it's sort of like a little video diary of it almost now for me to look back on and go, oh no, I genuinely am. I've made an effort to it. I am going to spend the next couple of weeks going back through some of our episodes at the start and listening to us and what we thought was going to happen, and quite excited for that, because they were different. Audio format only. No, but it's been great, and we're always grateful, and we've got I can say now that we've got a couple of great guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. We've got Simo coming on, and a couple others, which I'm not going to announce. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be coming up in the next week or so. So we're going to get that done. And on to the transfer window, James.
Yeah.
Your favourite time of the year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it on here, not on Twitter, because that's an absolute cesspit. So yeah, when things happen, we'll make videos about what's actually happened.
Yeah, well, I've made it an effort to just sort of wait until I have you message me for something, because I messaged you about Asensio and you went, not sure, and it didn't happen. So I've learnt my lesson. Wait for James to message me, and then I can get excited. Beautiful stuff. Well, as always, make sure that you hit the like button, smash the bell. Sorry, James, no tickling this week. And tap the subscribe button as well. Just make sure you never miss another video from the AVFC Faithful podcast. Bear in mind, we've got various pods coming out, interviews, and probably a couple of specials on players as well if they do journey on through. And we will be introducing, hopefully soon, I'm looking at doing it, a call-in sort of session as well, where we field your guys' questions to us and then we put them out there for everyone to see and us to answer to. Yeah, a bit of audio interaction for everyone. But until next time, up the Villa.
Up the Villa.